100 days until Ramadan. How much Arabic can someone learn in 100 days? I'm not an Arabic teacher who will use the old learn Arabic in 3 days or speak fluent Arabic in a year kind of headlines, but there is definitely something to be said for learning Arabic as quick as you can. At the end of the day, our entire lives are just a number of days, and we don't know how many days Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us. In addition, my dear Muslims, we have a strict deadline approaching, and we need to go all in. There is just way too much at stake. The month of Ramadan will be upon us in 100 days. This is a month in which the gates to hellfire are closed, one of its final nights is better than 1,000 months, and the entire Quran is recited in mosques and homes all over the world. This relationship with the Quran is one which cannot, absolutely cannot, be deep and meaningful without a grasp on the Arabic language. So I'm sat here thinking of how I can help students learn as much as possible in 100 days before the start of Ramadan. And here are 3 things which come to mind. Number 1. The first and most important thing is to prioritize. There is nothing quite like just getting rid of something. If your objective is to understand the Quran, focus on just understanding the Quran. The reason why Arabic takes so long to learn is because we want to learn to read, speak, understand and write all of Arabic for all purposes. And that's a good goal, but it's not the right one to have right now, with the knowledge that we're only 100 days away from Ramadan. The second is to have a routine. Routine and consistency are the superpowers of the children of Adam. Whether it be in work, business, training or sports, and indeed the Arabic language, you maintain a train of thought, build momentum and overall accumulate far more practice hours than sporadic bursts of enthusiasm. Number 3. The next thing is to set yourself up for longevity. The best way to do something for 1 week then never make progress in it again is to set an unrealistic New Year's resolution and then use up all of your energy as quick as possible. It's the oldest cliche in the book, but slow and steady wins the race. In fact, slow and steady is the only one who even finishes the race when it comes to the Arabic language. The best proposition I can offer is to cover the 100 most frequent words for understanding the Quran over the next 100 days. 1 video per day in a short 5-minute lesson, digestible and to the point. I want to hear from as many students as possible to know that it will be worth it, but if there are over 20 people who want to see this 100 video series, and by the way 100% for free, then I'll get straight to work. I hope to read your messages soon and to hear from you. The aforeread was my Arabists Digest. For those of you who don't know, the Arabists Digest is a weekly newsletter which I write for students who subscribe to it. If you would like to get hold of it every week, it will be delivered to your inbox every Sunday morning. And and I put in my thoughts on sort of progress of my students and learning the Arabic language and other general tips and advices for Arabic language students out there. And I envisage that it will kind of be the way that Arabic students all over the world spend their Sunday mornings. So with this podcast, inshallah, I want to kind of delve a little bit more into what I mean by that, and and actually how we're going to act upon it, because there is a bit less than 100 days now until the month of Ramadan, and there's a lot to be said for just really zoning in on what your actual goal is. You know, as I mentioned in the reading, that a lot of the time people slow down their Arabic a lot by not really knowing what they actually want to achieve. You know, people say, I want to learn Arabic, you know, to understand the Quran. They might say that, but what they really mean is they want to know all Arabic. They want to be able to speak it, they want to be able to read it, want to be able to write it, they want to be able to travel to Egypt and you know, and order falafel in a restaurant. They want to be able to do all of these things. But when we come into the month of Ramadan, there's nothing quite like just saying no to the unnecessary stuff and really zoning in on the really necessary stuff. And we have the opportunity to do that in the next 100 days, next 97 days, but we'll cram 100 days worth of stuff into it. And so what I'd like to do is to create a playlist. I'll do a video every single day. Today I'll do 3, so we catch up to the 97 days, and then every single day until the start of Ramadan we'll cover a new word. And we can probably cover about 50% of the Quran in that time. Now, in that time, we can probably cover about 50% of the words that is actually used in the Quran. And the objective of it is that the Muslims, when they come into the month of Ramadan, they have a more meaningful relationship with the Quran when they're actually going through it. I'm not saying that they'll be able to understand the whole Quran, or that there'll be scholars of it, or that they'll be able to create their own tafsir or anything like that. It's not about that. It's about the people being able to sit with the Quran and have a more meaningful and engaged, direct relationship with it. So there are 3 sources that I've found. There is a document on Quran word frequency that I've found. There is also a vocab list on Quizlet, of the most frequently used verbs. These are in the Quran. And there's also a document called the 80% of the Quranic words. And by using these, I've been able to put together a list of about 100 words, about 100 words, which will equip us with a good 50% of the Quran, which is, astonishing, really. When we look at just the first few words, the way that this podcast is difficult to just receive in the email is I'm going to give you guys some of the words that we're going to be going over. I'll give you guys a head start on it. And also it's helpful for me to put it in audio format for those of you guys who missed out on it as well. So, I mean, like in this document that I'm reading in front of me, combined, we have like, how does this work? I mean, within just a few words, within just learning like 5 words, you can probably access about 10,000 words in the Quran. If you were to learn min, the word Allah, the word la, the word fi, and the word inna, that's 5 words, right? Like those of you guys who are on my program, if you're in book 2, you'll know all those words. I mean, you know how to use them, and others that are in here as well. So, so like to be able to access 10,000 of the only 70,000 words, you can have like 15-20% of the Quran in just like the first 10 days that we could cover this. As I say, like, coming to be a scholar of the Quran or whatever is a lot more work than this, right? But this is like just a way for the masses. Now, this is a way for the general masses to build a quicker and more meaningful understanding of the Quran. So I want to hear from more people, inshallah, who will be interested in it, because I want to make sure that it's worth it, because it's a huge amount of work on my part, and I already pretty much put out a video a day on my YouTube channel. Do you know what I mean? I'm already pretty much doing videos every single day. But I'm willing to do this, inshallah, if there are people who follow along with it. And also if you guys will help me out by sharing it with other people too. There's so much benefit and reward available for you guys who share it with other people as well. Like if you're to commit to it for the next 100 days and you were to get like another 5 people to commit to it, inshallah, the reward that they gain from having a more meaningful relationship with the Quran will in turn, you will in turn have a share of that. And obviously we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I will also have a share of that as well, which is why I would like to make it for free and as available to people as possible. Okay, so for the rest of the duration of this podcast, inshallah, let's go through some of the words. Let's get a head start on some of the words. The idea is that I do a 5-minute video every day, well, maximum 5 minutes. Some of them will be shorter. Like when we're doing like a noun or a preposition or something that's really simple, we could probably do it in like a minute or 2. Do you know what I mean? But when we do a verb, like if we're doing the verb kana, there's some grammar to learn around the word kana, right? So, so some of those lessons will be longer, but we'll try to keep all of them under 5 minutes. So it's literally something that you can, literally, like when you get up in the morning, you're getting ready for work or whatever, or you get up a few minutes before the kids or whatever, just while you're having a coffee, you can just listen to it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's 5 minutes of your day. And for it to accumulate and us to have that routine, it obviously implements the 3 things that I was talking about having routine, about setting yourself up for longevity, and about really zoning in and focusing and prioritizing on the things you do need to learn, and not prioritizing on the things that you don't. It's a great objective to want to learn everything, but when we have a deadline and focus, it's not the time now to be, equipping yourself with Egyptian tongue twisters, even though they're hilarious and brilliant. It's not the time right now to be learning Egyptian tongue twisters when we have a strict deadline. So let's run through some of them, inshallah, to give you guys some words. So the first most used word in the Quran is just the word min. Min is a preposition, or in Arabic we call it a harf jar. It's from or of. A lot of languages kind of have that. Sort of joining of meanings between from and of. And actually in English, when we think about it, like if I say I am of a certain country, I'm of this lineage, you know what I mean? It's very similar to saying you're from, right? So some examples from the Quran. One that the document has in front of me is in Surah Al-Falaq. It says min sharri ma khalaq. Min sharri ma khalaq. So min sharri, like from the evil, ma khalaq, of that he created, from the evil that he created. So min, you probably most students when they first learn it, they kind of learn that they say ana min and then whatever country you're from. That's probably one of the first ways that students learn it, but that word is used 3,226 times in the entire Quran. Bear in mind as well, and listen carefully when I say this, there are a total of 77,429 words in the whole Quran. So, approximately 77,000 words in the Quran. And if we were to think like more than 3,000 are just that one word, 3,000 of them are just that one word. Which is awesome, isn't it, if you think about it? I mean, so if a word were to be 1% of the whole Quran, if a word were to be 1% of the whole Quran, it would need to be, 7,000, wouldn't it? So I suppose 0.5% of the Quran is just the word min, which is pretty crazy, isn't it, subhanAllah? Okay, yes, the word min, from or of. So if you have the min Allahi, okay, min Allahi would be from Allah, which brings us on to the second word. The word Allah, Allahu, obviously, but that makes sense that it's one of the most frequent words, occurring 2,699 times. So those two combined, pretty much we have 6,000 occurrences of just those two words, of min and Allah. So if you just remember that min Allahi would be from Allah. That's something that min does, by the way. It will put a kasra on the word that comes after it most of the time. Min Allahi. So if you remember min Allahi, from Allah, okay? This lesson, this podcast is min Allahi. It's come to you from Allah. Min Allahi, from Allah. The next word is just the word la, meaning no or not. It's a way of making verbs negative, and it's just a way of saying no. And that occurs 2,323 times. Just meaning, it means, it has a few uses. I mean, you can stick it before verbs. So for example, if we're saying something like yaqra'u, he's reading or he reads, la yaqra'u, he's not reading or he doesn't read. La yaqra'u, it also has a term, when we say la ilaha, when we say there is nothing worthy of worship, there is no God, with a little g, no God. La ilaha, that's called la an-nafiya lil jins. We just say like no God. And because we put a fatha after it, it's like there is nothing worthy of worship. Cool. Next we have the word fi. Okay, fi occurs 1,700 times in the Quran. That's the fourth most occurring word in the entire Quran. Fi. Fi just means in, and it's also a preposition, just like min is. So if we're going to say like in Allah, it would be like fillahi. Good. I mean, a very common occurrence of it is you hear fis samawati wal ard, like in the heavens and the earth. Fis samawati wal ard. So we've got min over 3,000 times, Allah more than 2,000 times, la more than 2,000 times, fi 1,700 times. Next is the word inna. Inna means indeed. There is a whole lesson in my program called Inna wa akhawatuha, or Anna wa akhawatuha. And they kind of have some rules tied to them, bismillah. That, if we would say something like, indeed Allah, we'd say inna Allaha. The word that comes after it is mansoob, or has a fatah on it. We'd say inna Allaha, indeed Allah. I'll try to make a sentence out of these, by the way, because out of those words, like indeed Allah, not, in, from, or something, we could say like, inna Allaha fi, like indeed Allah is in Allaha fi, indeed Allah is in. If we'd say something like as-sama, like in the skies or something, inna Allaha fi as-sama, or something like that. We don't tend to say that Allah is in the sky. You know what I mean? Allah is above the skies, on His throne, on His arsh. But we could probably make some sentences just out of this. Perhaps throughout the 100 days, perhaps we'll try to do a little paragraph in Arabic that uses all of these words in it, and you just learn that paragraph and then you know it all. Or a poem would be even better. If we could create a poem out of it, that'd be awesome. Okay, so anyway, so we have the words min, Allah, la, fi, inna. And the next word, number 6, is the verb qala. This is the first verb. It is by far the most used verb in the Quran, occurring 1,618 times. That actually contradicts what another one of the documents says. Another one of the documents is 1,710 or something. But either way, between 1,618 and between 1,700 and something, it's only like 50 words or whatever, 100 words or so difference anyway. But yeah, so the verb qala means to say. It can also mean to like have a sleep in the afternoon, and both of those uses are used in the Quran. For example, if we have the word qa'il, we use the active participle, it can be that someone is sleeping. There is a passage in Surah Al-A'raf or something, وَهُمْ قَائِلُونَ, and they were sleeping. But another time, like in Surah Yusuf, for example, there's a passage, قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ لَا تَقْتُلُوا يُوسُف. A qa'ilun, a speaker from them. A qa'il can be a speaker or it can be a sleeper. You can pretty much always tell from the context, but yeah, qa'ila, the verb to say. Another cool thing to know is that when you say, for example, if it says something like he said that, usually the word for that is anna, okay? But with qali you say inna. It's just a little rule to remember. It's a really common mistake that people make. Perhaps I'll add it to grammar time next week, maybe. I'll add it to my notes. Those of you on the podcast, sorry guys, I'm rustling around a little bit. But yeah, there's that is a common mistake that I've seen sometimes, so I'm going to do that in next week's episode of Grammar Time. I'll teach people about it. Grammar Time is a show that I do every Thursday on my YouTube channel where we go over sort of 4, 5, 6 common grammar mistakes. Yeah, but it is a mistake to say qala an or qala anna. You should say in, qala in or qala inna, to say he said that. Cool. Okay, let's get the ball rolling. So yeah, I'll say a few more things about qala. I mean, qala is a hollow verb, meaning, or the classical term is ejwef, for a verb that has an alif in the middle. But the present tense is qala, and then it's yaqulu if it's to say, but it's qala yaqilu if it's he sleeps. Comes from the word qaylula, which means a siesta. A qaylula, like a sleep in the afternoon. Cool, so yeah, it's no surprise that qala is the most common verb used in the Quran. Yeah, I'm not sure how these words are calculated, how these frequencies are calculated, if it's just that word used on its own or if it's various conjugations of it. I assume it's various conjugations of it, but yeah. The next word is alladhi. Alladhi is a relative pronoun, just means who or which or that. So, for example, you might hear things like, he is the one who created the heavens and the earth. For example, huwa alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal-ard. He is the one who. So it's like saying the one who or that or something like that. And it will usually be followed by a verb. الرجل الذي فتح الباب. The man who opened the door. الرجل الذي فتح الباب. الذي is actually a joining together of a number of different things. Actually, there's sort of alif and lam, the L at the beginning, and then there's another lam to be like for, and then it's from the word dhu, meaning to possess something. So alladhi, which is why there's a shadda on the lam, because it's kind of alif and lam as in the, and then lam as in for. So it's like the for possessor or something. Yeah, that's kind of the components of it that are squished together to make that word. But alladhi, very, very common. I mean, let me try to see if I can make a sentence out of using most of those. So, if we could say, Allahu alladhi qala, inna fi. So Allah is the one who says that indeed in the word ard is number 23 on this list, if we were to just borrow that for a minute. So, Allahu alladhi qala inna fil arda. Yeah, Allah is the one who says that in the earth. Just with that we have about 10,000 occurrences just by learning that. You've got like serious percentage of the Quran. You've got more than 10% of the Quran just from that. Cool. So nice. Let's keep the ball rolling. We'll try to go through 10, inshallah. So the next is the word ala. This is the same ala as when we say assalamu alaykum. This alaykum is from ala. The kum is just meaning you. It's like you plural. Ka is you singular. Although you don't hear people say assalamu alayka. You don't, not as a greeting anyway. You do hear it in like du'as and stuff. But yeah, apparently it can even be considered rude sometimes to say it to people. To say assalamu alayka to one person or assalamu alaykuma to two people. You should just say assalamu alaykum, whoever it is. I remember once when we learnt the dual at university, there were two of my friends sitting behind me. And when we sort of came back, we had a little break because we used to do 3-hour lectures. We had a break in the middle, we came back and I said assalamu alaykuma to the two of my friends. And my lecturer told me off for it. I was trying to be clever. I was trying to show off that I knew how to use the dual, but I got told off for it. Anyway, so ala is just upon. It means upon or on. Ala. And that's used 1,445 times in the Quran. Just the word ala. But bear in mind, with these prepositions, I mean, a lot of these are prepositions. Like in the top 10, 4 of them are prepositions. Bear in mind with prepositions, like, the main rule you need to know with them is that the word that comes after them has a kasra. That's the very simplified version of the rule. But also, bear in mind that verbs in Arabic take different prepositions to what we do in English. So, for example, we say things like, we think about. We say about when we think about something. If I'm thinking about a house, you know, my dream house or whatever, I'm thinking about my dream house. We can't just say I'm thinking my dream house. Do you know what I mean? We have to say about. Just like when we say I'm going to the mosque. We can't say I'm going the mosque. We have to use prepositions with verbs. But Arabic doesn't necessarily use the same ones. So like in Arabic, thinking about, they don't say fakkara an. They don't say thinking about. They say fakkara fi something. And like, you know, an example that I give often is the verb takallama, means to speak. When we speak about something, you can say takallama an, but it's actually sort of more fasih to say takallama ala. You kind of speak upon something. You actually use tahaddatha an. It's actually the way around. Tahaddatha means almost the same thing as what takallama does. But really, strictly speaking, it should be takallama ala and tahaddatha an. So, you know, so like in Arabic, you'd say things like, I'm speaking on something rather than about something. Or I'm thinking in something rather than about it. It's just something to bear in mind with prepositions. So next, okay, we have number 9. We'll do 2 more. We have the word li, meaning for. It's used 1,407 times. Yeah, I mean, it means for, but it also has a lot of other uses. Lam is used for a lot of different things as well. I don't know if this means that many occurrences, just for that meaning, or if it's for other occurrences as well. Let's say it's for other occurrences as well, and we'll talk through it. I mean, the most simple way of remembering it is that it's li, and it means for. You know, so. For the boy, lil waladi, for the house, lil bayti. But another application of it is to say have. You know, if you say something like, I have a child, li waladun, it can mean to have something. It can be used for possession, definitely, and it's also used for a number of other things. The example this document gives is one, ma lahu min dafi'. There is not to him from a defender. Yeah, there is no one who can sort of avert it or can avoid the punishment. That's really similar wording to a verse in Surah Al-Ma'arij, which this reminds me of. لِلْكَافِرِينَ لَيْسَ لَهُ دَافِعٌ لَيْسَ لَهُ دَافِعٌ. He does not have a defender, a dafi' or a avoider or something like that. That's using it as possession, so I assume that in this document it is using it not just for meaning for, but using for have and other stuff too. So yeah, incredibly common word. That'll be a little bit of a longer lesson just because li has a lot more applications than the word fi does, for example. And then the last one, this is the second verb. Now of these top 10, only 2 of them are verbs. Is unsurprisingly again the verb kana. Kana yakunu. Kana means to be. It's sort of the closest thing that the Arabic language has to the verb to be. A lot of the time you don't actually need the word to be, because you just create a sentence by saying something like, you know, العربية جميلة. The Arabic, a beautiful. You know, Arabic is beautiful. That's kind of how you do it. القهوة لذيذة. The coffee is delicious. Yeah, so that's kind of how you create to be normally in Arabic. But the closest thing to it is the verb kana, and usually its job is to put something in the past tense. So, for example, if we're to take either of those two sentences that I just mentioned, if we're to say something like العربية جميلة, if we wanted to make it in the past tense, we just put كانت before it. Has to agree in gender, so we say كانت. So كانت العربية جميلة, or جميلة, it would have to be in that case if we're using kana. Yeah, so kana's first superpower is to put it in the past tense. Second is that what we call the khabar, or the adjective, or the thing that we're using to describe to do our describing, takes fathas. So that's why it's جميلة. كان العربية جميلة. كانت العربية جميلة. You know, the Arabic was beautiful. I mean, that sentence, when I hear it, it sounds more like you're saying that an Arab woman is beautiful. If you're saying an Arabiya, you're talking about like a female Arab. You're talking about an Arab woman being beautiful rather than the Arabic language. Depending on the context, I mean, it would usually be clear. If you're talking about the Arabic language, it would be clearer. And then the other one was القهوة لذيذة. So if we were to put كانت before it, كانت القهوة لذيذة. So there's a bit of grammar that goes with using kana and some other attributes that kana has. But kana is used 1,358 times. That's awesome. So combined, I mean, if I just run through these, there's about 15,000 uses there. So just of those 10 words, about 15,000 words of 77,000. I mean, what is that, like 20%? Is that 20% of the words in the Quran that we've just learnt in the past 5 minutes? I don't know if my maths are right there, but yeah, I mean, it's 15,000. If there were 100,000 words in the Quran, it would obviously be 15%. But I mean, you know, if we just... Obviously, maths isn't my strong point, obviously. But yeah, it's basically like 20% of the Quran, I think, that we've just learnt just now. Which blows my mind. So we're going to go to town on that. So hopefully you're interested in, in building your knowledge of how to use each of those and how to spot them in the Quran more. So what we'll do is on the YouTube channel, inshallah, I'll put the audios here on the podcast as well for you guys. And yeah, every week we'll do 7. This week we'll do 10 because we need to catch up, because we're actually 97 days away from Ramadan now, so we need to do an extra 3. So we'll do 10 this week, and next week we'll do another 7. Completely for free. I'll put them on the podcast, I'll put them on the YouTube channel, I'll put them on Facebook as well. And they're just going to be very short videos, under 5 minutes. If you're on the podcast, you won't miss out on anything, because I'm not going to do any screencasting or anything. I'm not going to do any animations or text on the screen or anything in the videos. Number one, because we're learning this so we can appreciate it in the Quran and in Taraweeh. And in Taraweeh, you're not going to be looking at it. You're just going to be hearing it. So that's why I'll plan the lessons in that way, or deliver them like that. And also, it just eases the workload for me as well. If I can just put the camera on, we'll do one take, we'll just reel it out, do you know what I mean? And then I'll do the editing and stuff and get it up online. So that's it. Okay. So congratulations, guys. You have learned 20% of the Quran. Congratulations. We have 50 seconds until I want to round up this podcast, inshallah. I don't want the recording to be more than half an hour. So I'll just sign out by saying thank you very much for listening. It means the world to me. If you haven't subscribed on the YouTube channel, on the podcast and stuff, please do so. I really, really would love to have 5,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel before the end of this month. That would make my day. Hope you guys are looking forward to the 100-day countdown to Ramadan. Make sure you're looking out for those videos, and yeah, enjoy. Don't forget to get in touch if you want to ask anything. And I look forward to seeing you guys in one of those videos. If you're on the YouTube channel, the next one of my normal publishing videos on the YouTube channel will be tomorrow's walkthrough. We're going to do something from the Umar series, something Arabic for you guys to listen to. So I'll see you guys then. A very warm assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Nice, YouTube. We kept that recording at under kept that recording under 30 minutes, alhamdulillah. Podcast 18. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that it's episode 8. Is it episode 18? I think it is episode 18. Cool. Alright, YouTube. Yeah, YouTube guys, if you want to sort of explore more about the points that I made from the Arabists Digest, yesterday's video I did live on the YouTube channel, so the Arabists Digest episode 4. It's on the YouTube channel now, so you guys can go and watch it. It was about an hour-long video, but there are some interesting questions and stuff like that. So if you have the time and you'd like to, go and watch it or watch a bit of it or whatever. Okay, YouTube. Alright, that's saved. That'll go out later today, inshallah. Alright, YouTube. Over and out. Assalamu alaikum.